Evil Twins actually locked down a regional one. I didn't expect to see this out of left field. And more Sky Striker and Hero Albaz shenanigans for you guys today. Like 30% of you guys have not smashed the crap out of that subscribe button. Smash so we can get to 105,000. First list we're going to be looking at here is, in fact, an Evil Twin list. And I'm not going to lie to you, I've actually been pretty perplexed by, not seeing a lot of Evil Twins. Maybe when Splight comes out, we'll see a little bit of a difference here. But the fact that we finally saw this deck, lock down a regional first place here from Daniel Kiefer here, actually is pretty interesting. Hi Scythelock. I'm pretty glad to see that we're not playing Dagda at all in this list. Okay, so we have Scythe shenanigans for our Sanctum side in and our cross-out designator target. That's actually kind of cute overall. So we have 1 copy of Artifact Scythe, 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 2 copies of Effect Veiler. We have 1 copy of the big Evil Twins, Kishi, Sakel, and Lilla. Triple copies of Phantasma. This card, Phantasma isn't gaining a little bit of popularity as of late, but that's really says something, especially when you're like in the middle of Albaz format here. We have 2 copies of Ghostbelt and Haunted Mansion, 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, triple copies of Evil Twin Kishi Sakel. We're playing 2 copies of Frost. Okay. We have triple copies of Lilla and 1 copy of Lilla Treat. Down here in the extra deck, we have triple Space Rock, 1 Call by the Grave, triple copies of Crossout Designator. I do think a deck like Evil Twins does need to focus on playing Crossout, because there are so many detrimental things right now that can happen to you as an Evil Twin, as an Evil Twin player. You can't really edge out or be able to beat, actually. So this is actually a nice way to be able to kind of play around some of those more painful things that you're going to encounter. We have triple droplets, same thing here. You're going to need these in order to board break 100%. We have 1 Live Twin Home. We have triple Sunny's Snitch. We have 1 Desires, triple copies of Secret Password, 2 Talents, and 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Unicron, of course, 1 Phoenix, triple copies of Troubled Sunny. Now, we only have 2 copies of Lilla. That's very interesting. Triple copies of Kishi Sakel, 1 copy of D-Hark, 1 Access Machine, with 1 Sky Cavalry, 1 Downward, and 1 copy of Zeus, because being able to stack up how many materials on that thing is very, very nice. Down here in the side deck, we have 1 Lancia, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, triple copies of Lightning Storm, triple copies of Artifact Sanctum, triple copies of Evenly Matched, 1 Red Reboot, and triple copies of Solemn Judgment here, wrapping up an interesting take on Evil Twins here. I do think that it is really, really important to take note of like what interactions and things that this deck actually is able to succeed in. And if a lot of players aren't really if they're very Albaz sided, then yeah, I feel like a rogue deck like this can come through and do relatively well. All right, next up here, more Sky Striker. Now, the first thing I see about the Striker list that takes me off guard is we're actually playing Hercules base. I do believe that the last Striker deck that I saw that performed well out of a regional was playing Pot of Avarice. But the cool thing about this is searchable. So I guess your trade-off with this is going to be how much do you value being able to search this versus the draw 2 that is presented off of the unsearchable Pot of Avarice. That is something that I think you'll have to ask yourself here. But seeing that Striker is still able to do things here, this is the important part, without the adventure package and without the assistance of Verte and Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, which still proves to us that this deck can still very much do what it wants to do free. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, triple copies of Effect Veiler, triple copies of Sky Striker Ace Ray, 2 copies of Rose, 1 copy Called by the Grave, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, triple copies of Lightning Storm, 2 copies of Mystic Mine, triple copies of Raigeki, 1 Rhoda, 1 Set Rotation, 1 Area Zero with 1 Afterburners, 1 Eagle Booster, 1 Hornet Drones with 1 Shark Cannon, triple Widow Anki, 1 copy of Multi-Roll, 1 Hercules Base with 1 Engage, 1 Terraforming, and 1 Upstart. I guess I have to say this now. The inclusion of Mystic Mine in this deck is probably one of the better reasons why it can succeed and keep up with the metagame. Because, quite honestly, where how many monsters can floodgate you out of the game at this point in time. So having access to this definitely equalizes the playing field. We also have triple copies of Infinite Permanence and 1 copy of Metaverse, wrapping up the main deck. Down in the extra deck, we actually have 2 Zeke. Alright. We have triple copies of Shizuku, 1 Kaina, triple Kagari, triple Hayate, 1 Celine, 1 Hulk, and 1 copy of the Axis Machine. Side deck here, we have triple Gameciel, triple Ghost Bell, triple Ghost Ogre, triple Nibiru, and triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone here. Wrapping up, Sky Striker list that does not need all of that extra little sauce to be able to compete in the metagame. And I think that that's actually a pretty important thing, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, I see you. Next up is Hero Albaz. Now, when I say Hero Albaz, we're including in here the Neos Fusion package. Now, unironically, I've got another friend that has won a couple of locals, including the power of Neos Fusion. Like, Neos Fusion in this deck is dummy good from what I'm seeing, because, you know, you don't... Albaz Fusion, or Brandon Fusion, dislocks you into being able to fusion summon for the turn. So Neos Fusion's like, oh yeah, by the way, you know, I'll follow this on up and do its thing. That's fine. Alright, like this, you just slam in as many good fusion spell cards as you can into the deck and be able to produce these very, very, very powerful monsters. And that's honestly what this deck is good at. So we have 1 copy of Destiny Hero Celestial, 1 copy of Dasher, 1 Honest Neos, 1 Liquid Soldier, 2 copies of Shadow Mist, 2 copies of the Stratman, 2 copies of Albaz, 1 Rainbow Dragon with 1 Light Hexial Fusion, 2 copies of Ion, 2 copies of Elemental Hero Neos, 2 copies of Hero Lives, triple copies of Branded Fusion, triple copies of Forbidden Droplet, 1 Fusion Deployment, 2 Fusion Destiny. We have 2 Lightning Storms, triple Mash Change. Yeah, you're going to get into like some super layers of shenanigans here, because being able to, you know, produce Dark Laws on top of things is hilarious. We have 1 Miracle Fusion, triple copies of Neos Fusion, 1 Poly, 1 Rhoda, and triple copies of Super Polymerization. Now, down in the extra, we have 1 Starving Venom, 1 Dark Dragoons, 1 Rainbow Neos, 1 Dragos to play with 1 Mirror Jade, 2 copies of Dark Law, 1 Blast, 2 Lubellion, 1 Sunrise, 1 Brave Neos, 1 Absolute, 1 Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, and 1 Albion. Side deck here, we have 2 Ghost Ogre. We're playing 1 Hummingbird for time. We have 1 Kaios with 1 Winda, and we have 1 of this guy. So evidently, while your life points are lower than your opponent's, this card gets stacked equal to the difference. And then this card returns the extra deck during the end phase. This is not an effect that activates, so if you're playing really far behind, you can produce this giant beat stick to kind of equalize the game. It's literally the value of Arenius, I guess. So I have 1 Great Tornado, 1, this Magical Steel Fusion, 1 copy of Acid, 1 Mirror Jade with 1 Trinity, 2 Fusion Deployments, and 2 copies of Infinite Permanence here, wrapping up this list. And last as we have for you guys here is a Drytron Power Up. This actually got top 4 out of regional, and I am always excited to see like more Drytron doing well, especially after like all the neuters and things that pushes deck down to rogue. So we have triple copies of Lancia with 1 Scythe, 1 Chaos Valkyria, 1 Celestia with 1 Plasma, triple copies of Alpha Thuban, triple copies of Rastaban, triple copies of Altanin, triple copies of Albaya, 1 copy of Manju with triple Mathematician. Alright. We have 1 Ben 10, 1 Nita 10 with 1 Natasha, 1 Draconius with 1 Megalith Auk, and 1 copy of Fool. That's interesting. We have 1 Call by the Grave, triple Cyber Emergency, triple Drytron Nova, triple copies of Break My Board, 2 Fusion Destiny, 1 Matanus, triple Imperm. Down here in the extra deck, we have the Underworld Goddess, 1 Verti Anaconda, 1 Link Spider with the 1 Unicorn with 1 Phoenix, the 1 IP, the 1 Dehark, 1 Dagda, the 1 Axis Machine, the 1 Mu Beta, 2 Mu Beta, 1 Downard, 1 Zeus, with 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. Side deck here we have triple Token Collector, triple copies of Mystic Mine, triple copies of Dimensional Barrier, triple copies of Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Skill Drain here. Wrapping up our chunk of relatively interesting deck list for you guys. And like I said, I think there's a lot of things to kind of mess around with here, and you guys will have a little bit of fun with. So what do you think about these decks? Please leave a comment about what you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. And even Evil Twins can still run it back in the year 2022. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.